Hi there, my name is Bowie. I use they, them pronouns, and welcome to your 20 minutes of movement. Today we're going to be looking at movement for your lower back. Now this video is recorded on the stolen lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Sovereignty never was and never will be ceded, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I also want to give a big shout out to Proud to Play. This video is being recorded on behalf of them. Now let's get into our session. We're going to start on the ground, so if you are not on the ground, feel good about finding a spot where you can lay down. And we're going to come onto our backs to begin with. Take a moment to settle yourself in. You don't always get comfortable that first time when you lay down, so feel good about that. Have a bit of a fidget around if you need. Once we're here, we're going to take our arms, we're going to raise them up above our heads so that our upper arms are up beside our ears. We're going to stretch our fingers right out, and we're going to, at the same time, point our toes right down, and we're going to get as long as we can here. Nice and long, reaching. Feel good about gently just bringing your arms from side to side if you like. And then we're going to relax. You can have a nice big exhale there. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to go again. Reaching our fingers right up, pointing the toes right down. That's it. And relaxing again. Taking another nice breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we're going to come to sitting up. So making your way to sitting, however feels good for you. You can bring your legs to just compacted in front of you in a way that is comfortable for you. You're going to bring your hands, just rest gently on the tops of your knees here. You sit up as tall as you can. We're going to take one ear and we're going to tilt it down towards our shoulder. Come back to the starting point, swap sides. Be sure to keep your elbows nice and heavy, and that'll keep your shoulders down away from your ears. And just finding a pace that works for you. We're going to tilt left and right. Just getting as far as you feel good about. Don't force anything. And next, do not like being forced into positions. So wherever you get to, it's totally okay. That's it. We'll do one more each side. Nice. Coming back to that starting point, we're going to look up. And then looking down, tucking our chin towards our collarbones. Looking back up. It doesn't matter if your chin reaches your collarbone or not. It's just the direction we want to go. Down towards the collarbone instead of dropping our heads forwards. Notice I'm just taking my time here. Our necks really don't like being moved about quickly, so taking it nice and slow, not forcing anything, just getting to wherever it is that you can get to. That's it. So we'll do one more looking up, one more looking down. That's it. Then we're going to look to the right and look to the left. Again, just taking our time, getting as far as you can get. It doesn't matter where that is. Just nice and slow. You might find that as you move your head, you'll get a little bit more movement as things get warmed up, and that's great. If not, totally okay also. There's not a minimum requirement for where you need to get to with any of this. That's it. We'll do one more each side. Amazing. Bringing our hands together. We're going to link our fingers. We're going to turn our palms outward to face away from us, and we're just going to gently press our fingers forward. And as we do, we're going to roll our shoulders back and away, stretching out nice and long there. Not forcing anything. You might find this can cause quite a bit of tightness through your fingers. Sitting back up. That's it. We're going to take our hands, we're going to link our fingers together behind our backs, and we're going to gently squeeze the shoulder blades together. Gently press your chest forward, even looking up a little bit, and just getting a nice stretch at the back. Feel good about raising your hands up as high as you feel you can, wherever that is. If you can't link your fingers behind your back, you can just sit your hands on the floor beside your hips and press chest forward, gently squeezing your shoulder blades together. I'm going to go one more time from that starter movement, fingers linked, pressing our palms away, rolling our shoulders back, getting a nice roundness through our upper backs there. Sitting up, bringing our hands behind, either linking our fingers together or just taking our fingertips to the floor beside our hips, squeezing our shoulder blades together, pressing the chest forward. That's it. And relaxing. We're going to come back down onto our stomachs now. So making your way down, however feels good for you. And once we're down here, what we're going to do, I'm going to take our hands and we're going to bring them to in front of our shoulders. Try to bring them as close to in front of your shoulders as you can, but depending on how your elbows like to move, that might be a little bit different from what I'm demonstrating, and that is okay. You're going to take the tops of your feet and just relax them on the floor. Looking forwards, we're going to slowly press our hands down into the floor and begin to straighten the arms. Being sure that you want to keep the front of your hips down and get a nice curve through your back. So wherever you're getting to, totally okay. Bringing yourself back down, and when you're ready, pressing your hands away. Your arms do not have to come to any sort of straightness. Only where they can get to for you, that is perfect. Taking your time. That's the way. Allowing that curve through your back. Holding these positions as long as you like as well. So if you find at the top, wherever that is for you, that it feels like a nice, satisfying stretch through your back, feel good about taking that moment to just enjoy it. That's the way. We'll do two more. This can cause quite an intense sensation through your mid-back as well. So you don't want to force anything here. Getting to a point where you feel comfortable to get to. Nice. You certainly don't have to do as many reps of any of these as I'm doing either. We're going to roll over onto our backs now. Feet are going to be flat on the floor, so knees are going to be bent. And from here, hands can just come out to the side, somewhere around hip level. We're going to drop our knees down to the floor on one side. Doesn't matter how far you get down, so wherever you can get to, and then we're going to bring our knees back up and we're going to alternate in the other direction, getting a nice twist through our lower backs. That's it. Just getting wherever it is that your knees feel good about dropping to. You're not forcing anything here. Just taking your time. Making sure that the backs of your shoulders stay resting on the floor. It's really important. And you might find as you work through them, you start to get a little bit more range, and that's great. If you're not, that's also okay. Wherever you are at, perfect. There is no minimum requirement for how you can move here. So just find the way that feels good for you. And if you find that you struggle to bring your knees back up, if they get a bit close to the floor, I would recommend not dropping them down quite so low. So just going to a height where you can bring them back up to that starting point in the center. That's it. We'll do one more each side. Again, holding at the bottom point as long as you feel comfortable to you. This can be quite a satisfying stretch. That's it. And coming back up. We're going to come back over onto our hands and knees now. So rolling onto the fronts, coming to hands and knees. That's the way. We're going to bring our knees to under our hips, out hip width apart, our hands to under our shoulders. Going to curl our toes under. So we're nice and ready for action here. We're going to lift our knees up off the floor and then press our butts up towards the roof, straightening your legs just as much as you feel good about. Wherever that is for you, it's all good. Reaching your chest back towards your toes. You can creep your hands forward a little bit here. We're going to shift our weight forward, bring our hips down towards the floor, eyes up towards the roof. Feel good about letting your knees rest on the floor if you like. Coming back to that hands and knees position. We're going to go again. Lifting the knees up, pressing the hips back, pointing our butts up towards the roof. Pressing your chest like you're trying to get your chest towards your toes. Coming forward. Looking up. That's it. Want to do 3 more. So taking your time here. That's it. Coming forwards. Back to hands and knees. Resetting before each one here, making sure we're nice and controlled. Holding each position for as long as you feel good about. So there is no time limit. That's it. Back to starting point. Well, one more. And coming forwards. That's the way. Yes. And back to hands and knees. Coming back to sitting now. We're going to bring our legs out to in front of us. They don't have to be together. So whatever position that feels good for you, we're going to sit up nice and tall. Hands on the fronts of the legs, wherever that is. We're going to take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, reaching down towards your feet. Whatever it is you're going to do, you can take a moment and you're just going to gently hold that point that you can reach to. And just breathe there. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Every time you breathe out, just seeing if you can creep your fingers a little bit further down. But don't worry, you don't have to be reaching your feet at all. Wherever it is that you are getting to is perfect. So feel good about that. Breathing through here. If you find you're getting some pulling in the back of your knees, it's okay to bend them just a little bit. So if you need to bend your knees that tiny bit, feel good about that as well. Find the ways that you can be comfortable in these stretches, because being comfortable is what allows our muscles to relax. And that means that they can stretch a little bit more, get rid of some of that tension that they may be holding. That's the way, just taking our time here. Feel good about coming out of this stretch at any point that you like as well. You don't have to hold this for as long as I am. You can pop out, have a little break, come back in, do it in short little intervals. That is okay. Just working on creeping forward. So long as you're sinking forwards, you can keep this stretch going. So while there's movement happening and there's more stretch happening in your muscles, feel good about just working on finding that bottom point of the stretch, wherever that is for you. And once you notice you get to a point where you're just not getting any lower, that's when you can take that moment, just hold, and when you're ready, coming out. Using your hands to walk your upper body back up to sitting. We don't want our lower backs to be doing the work of lifting our torso. So we use our hands on our legs for support. We're going to do a little hip stretch here. Now I'm going to give you two options because sometimes our hips don't like to move in certain ways if they're a bit tight. So our first option is to have one leg kind of partially extended. You're going to take the opposite leg and you're going to cross that foot over the top of your knee. And from here, you're going to creep your butt forward towards the heel of the foot that's on the floor. Using your hands to support your upper body. Now, the closer your butt gets to the heel that's on the floor, the more you're going to feel that stretch in this opposite leg that is crossed over the top. This is where you're likely to be feeling that stretch. Though you could feel it in other places, depending on how tight you are, how your body likes to move in general. You'll find that you may feel this stretch in your lower back as well. You may feel a little bit through the back of this crossed leg as well. Wherever you're feeling it, as long as it is not pain, that is perfect. If you feel the stretch kind of easing off, like that discomfort of the stretch fades away, feel good about bringing yourself closer. Now, if this is a little bit challenging for you, what you can do is we'll swap sides, and on this second side I'm going to demonstrate what else you can do, which is a 90-90. So it looks a little like this. You're going to have one leg forward, one leg out to the side, and then you're going to bring your hands to in front of the leg that is coming forwards out in front of you. So this is also going to get into your hip. So whatever feels good for you, try them both out. Try one on each side. See if you notice which one is more comfortable, or if you notice a difference. And the same thing again, as you're doing this, keep in mind that so long as you're moving forwards with the stretch, so long as the stretch is easing and you're still finding more space opening up through your joint, you're able to increase that stretch. Hold it for that long. But get experimental here. Try out both options if you like. See which one works better. You might find that you feel them a little bit differently. Maybe one is a little bit more intense than the other. It's all good. Find that one that works for you, or one that you have a preference for, because I definitely find I have preferences for certain stretches. And I would not be surprised if you did too. When you're ready, coming up out of that. And we're going to finish off bringing our legs to just compacted back in front of us again. I'm going to take one hand, it's going to sit down beside the hip, sitting up nice and tall. Our opposite hand is going to reach up, and as we reach up, we're going to breathe in. And we're going to tilt. We're going to use our arm, it's going to reach over the top of our head and then keep going. It's going to tilt our upper bodies. And I'm using this hand on the floor to support my torso so that it can relax and I can get a nice big stretch all down the side of my body that is facing the roof or facing the ceiling, or just breathing here. Making sure both sides of your butt stay down on the floor. One side will get a little bit lighter, that's okay. Reaching back up and bringing the arm towards the side it usually lives on. That's going to bring us back to sitting. And we're going to swap sides. So that hand now that was just reaching comes to the floor beside our hip. Our opposite hand reaches up as we breathe in. Breathing out. And tilt. Reaching our hand over, allowing that elbow to just bend and the arm to hang there. Again, using that bottom hand to support the torso so you get a nice big stretch through that side that you're tilting away from. Just breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, just as best you can. That's it. When you're ready, that top hand reaches back and away from the tilt, and that helps bring us back to sitting. Yes, we are done, friends. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope that you find that it helps with any stiffness or tightness you may be feeling in your lower back. You can practice these movements once a day, twice a day. Find that time that works for you. If you've got a free 20 minutes, jump in, have it as a nice break between kind of work. It'll all be good. Alrighty, friends. Have a rad as day.